how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another 2024 movie review. Now, I've only done 2 reviews so far this year, one for Ordinary Angels and one for Dune Part 2. But now we're about to get into another movie review, and this time is going to be on a movie that honestly, I'm surprised they managed to keep going after it's been so many years since the last installment. And that, of course, is Kung Fu Panda 4. Yep, Kung Fu Panda 4 is the 4th installment to the Kung Fu Panda franchise, starring Jack Black as the titular character of Po, who is a lovable panda who is pretty much just the way Jack Black normally acts in real life. Now, we just saw Jack Black recently or not recently, but last year we saw him in the Super Mario Brothers movie as Bowser. Great casting, by the way. And now we just saw him in Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, slight spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, and I say slight because it's been over a week since I saw this movie, but I just haven't gotten a chance to review it. But with, like I said, the one thing that most people were not too happy about when it came to this installment was certain characters were missing from the movie, and that is, of course, the Furious Five. And we sort of see them at the very end of the movie, like they actually show up, but only during the credits, doing like a little montage of training with the new Dragon Warrior that we could see in a possible 5th movie if they ever decide to do that. Now, none of the actors came back to voice their characters in those credits, even though I swear there was at one point where Mantis did the Seth Rogen scream, and I'm like, wait, did he actually come back and do it, or did they just like take that from past footage? But yeah, so Kung Fu Panda 4 mainly tells the story of Po no longer being able to be the Dragon Warrior because he's going to advance to what Oogway was in the very first film, which was the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, which I find is interesting because what about Shifu? I mean, he's been there for so many years. And yet he seems to not be apparently he doesn't get that opportunity to be the spiritual leader after Oogway passed away, or maybe he did. I just am thinking too much on this, but because Po is going to be the spiritual leader, he has to find a new successor as the Dragon Warrior. Now, we do see the return of Ian McShane as the voice of Tai Lung. That really isn't a spoiler because he was in the trailer. But I will say he's the only villain actor who came back to record lines for his character again. Now, we do still see Lord Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2 and Kai from Kung Fu Panda 3, but they don't actually have lines. We just see them in the background. Now, I will say Kung Fu Panda 4, in my opinion, is definitely the weakest of the 4 films, but I still think it was an okay film. I will say Awkwafina as the new character of Zen, I think is her character's name. She's a little fox who ends up becoming the new Dragon Warrior. Her character I thought was okay in this film. It was definitely way better than Awkwafina's role in the live-action Little Mermaid. I will say that. Way better. And I will say, and plus, plus she's even playing a character that is a female, which that was the one thing people complained about with her character in The Little Mermaid, where she played Scuttle. Now, in the original Little Mermaid, Scuttle was a guy, but they gender swapped, and even animals swapped Scuttle in that movie, which a lot of people were not too happy about. And I can get why people were upset with Awkwafina's Scuttle portrayal, especially when that song came up near the end of the movie. What is it called? Scuttlebud? But anyways, we're not talking about Little Mermaid, we're talking about Kung Fu Panda 4. So, bottom line, Kung Fu Panda 4 is definitely the weakest one, but I still thought it was an okay film. I mean, it's not one of the worst films of the year. I just thought it could have done a little bit better, especially because they cut out the Furious 5, which I think is, a lot of people are saying that the Furious 5 being in the movie is like the core drive for people to want to come see Kung Fu Panda movies, not just Jack Black's Po, which I feel like, I don't know. And plus, I realized it also had the lowest budget out of all the movies, which is probably why they couldn't get the Furious 5 back because of the low budget. But we'll see what happens if Kung Fu Panda 5 were to come out and they actually have a bigger budget where they can bring back the Furious 5 voice actors, but we'll see. Anyways, let me give you my rating of the movie. So, like I said, this is the weakest Kung Fu Panda movie of the franchise. Not just because of the low budget but also because of like the Furious 5 not being in the movie that much. Certain characters came back and some did not, but I still thought it was an okay film. So if I had to give this movie a rating, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. Yep, 3.5 out of 5. So it's still a decent film. Probably not going to 100% be on the best films of the year list, but again, there's not many movies coming out this year that I may end up seeing that can be on the best movies of the year list. So we'll see how this year turns out. But anyways, that's all for now on this movie reaction, and of course I will see all of you guys in the next video.